I was like, Mahesh Babu like that? Cut to, I meet him 3 days ago at Soho House. And I was like, here we are. Now I'm doing a show, Bugger, not even a film. So,
And these are questions we have fielded as makers as to who slept with whom in certain shows that we've made, right?
there was so much similarity between people and the way they build emotions. We're just unnecessarily divided by language.
Shooting the same scene again and again with 20 different angles and repeating takes after takes. It's not glamorous.
Hi, this is Sana Farzeen and you're watching IndianExpress.com, and I have with me the team of Rana Naidu. So tell me, how did it happen? Like, when did you guys decide that this is the show that we want to adapt for the Indian audience?
Well, I thought something powerful and well-written would be great to adapt in India, and I was fortunate enough that I was able to work out a deal with CBS that owns the rights for the original series, and wanted to keep true to the fact that in the original series you have a family moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, so they're a little fish out of water. So I thought, let's do the same thing here. We'll bring characters from South India to Bombay, so you've got also that dynamic going on. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to, at the right moment, connect with Karan and Rana right off the bat, and everything kind of clicked. At the same time, Rana and Venkatesh were looking for something challenging and interesting in long form. So the timing was just great, and everything aligned, and then we were able to also get Suparn to join us.
Of course, you spoke about how you wanted the South people coming to Bollywood, like how the angle, but why did you decide that we'll go for South? Was it because it's the flavor of the season right now?
We started 3 years ago, actually.
It was not the flavor of the season now.
You guys created it.
We anticipated
it. Where the country is headed.
Yeah, but tell us about the idea, like what was the idea behind it?
It was a natural progression. Plus, I'm South Indian, so
Honest.
lean into that a little bit. And again, like I said, the timing was just right, and at that point, Rana was thinking about something interesting to do. It just fit together really. There wasn't any inspiration beyond that, and sometimes the best inspiration is just the right timing.
Yeah.
That's what leads to everything that clicked into place for us.
But Rana, tell me, did you anticipate that Telugu films will become so huge like in 2022, 2023?
Well, I obviously believe, I came and did my second film was a Hindi film.
Yeah.
And then I continued doing films in Telugu again. But I always knew that there was so much similarity between people and the way they build emotions. We're just unnecessarily divided by language.
Right.
And I knew at some point that, and I've been always trying to make films like that. And Ghazi was my first film that, it's actually a Telugu film, and people in Telugu thought I was making a Hindi film. Both of them thought I was making a Tamil film, and that kind of confusion. But then after that, then the Bahubali came along.
Yeah.
And to me, that was always a moment that I was hoping for. And here you go. Today, it's all changed.
Yeah.
I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine recently. Him I met before Bahubali, and he was a friend from Bombay, also from the industry, and he said, because I didn't come here for a long time, I was gone for about 4 or 5 years. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm making this film called Bahubali, this is what it is, and told him a little bit of the story. And he told me that day, he asked me, okay, so who's playing the role of Bahubali? I said, Prabhas. So he's like, who's Prabhas? I was like, how do I explain Prabhas to this guy? So I told him 1 or 2 films of his, and he never watched them. And he told me something which was crazy, that he said, dude, the only Telugu actor I know is Chinu's husband, he said.
Okay.
So I was wondering what he even meant, right? And I realized Chinu was Namrata Shirodkar and he knew Mahesh Babu like that. I was like, Mahesh Babu like that? And I told him that day, I said, just wait for about 4 or 5 years, an army of us will land up here. And cut to, I meet him 3 days ago at Soho House. And I was like, here we are. Now I'm doing a show, Bugger, not even a film. So yeah. So I was hoping this moment would happen, and I'm just grateful and happy that everyone's accepting of each other's cinema and watching so much of it.
But Rana, if you have to reflect, like what worked with the Hindi-speaking audience about these films that it's become so massive?
See, first there's something that is innately Indian, where there is a certain sense of family, there's a certain sense of value, there's a certain sense of culture all of us have ingrained. And I guess South Indian films were capturing that at a larger degree
Right.
than the cinema you got. So always you'll be accepting of newer things. See, if we made the similar films like they were in Bombay, you wouldn't have watched these films, right? So it's you got something new, and the South is actually not one, but it's about 4 or 5 different industries. So you consistently get variety.
Amazing. Tell me about Rana Naidu. Will we get to see the celebrity lifestyle, like the dark side of it? Have you guys... Could you just give us a little more sneak peek? And will there be any real life cameos?
There are no real life cameos, number one. And as far as dark side and bright side is concerned, here's the thing, right? As filmmakers, we delve into drama.
Yeah.
And which at times means creating drama, which doesn't really exist in our real lives. Fact is this, as filmmakers, we are on set 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
Our crew comes to set 3 hours before that, which means for a 7 o'clock shift, you're leaving your home at 2 in the night or 3 in the night, literally, and going home at 1 in the night. So a very different kind of drama ensues. I mean, actors are in the vanities all day long shooting in the hot sun. So that is reality.
In the vanity shooting.
You know, I mean, we are shooting on set, actors come on set, but you get the point. But here's the thing, if we showed that, the audience will be snoring. We need to show heightened dramas.
Okay.
And also, the film industry has become a microcosm of the entire country,
Yes.
where all the drama in every different profession
True.
is in this. Unlike, of course, Karan, who's also put in cricket, which is a
Yeah,
fantastic
that was
thing.
my next question.
But these are professions which are in the public eye.
Yeah.
If journalism was, if lawyers were, if every other field was, the stories would be the same, because honestly, ras saath hi hain. And you're going to play with those 7 emotions, right?
Right.
So if you're going to use the film industry as a hook point,
Yeah.
you're going to play with those 7 emotions. That could be betrayal, murder, sex,
Yeah.
seduction, blah blah. And they evoke a certain reaction from audiences. They interest them. Everybody wants to know what's happening in someone's life. And these are questions we have fielded as makers as to who slept with whom in certain shows that we've made, right? That's the curiosity value. We all want to know who's doing what. And with Rana Naidu, here he's fixing people's messes.
Yeah.
Because they were doing a lot of stuff they were not supposed to do and being very naughty boys and girls. So that's it. And it happened to be in the public limelight.
Right.
And that's about it. But no, in no way is it a reflection of what reality is. If we showed you reality, you would be bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely outrageous situations that we have created from our imaginations.
Okay.
Let's be clear. In fact, it's half the time I'm listening to friends of mine who are not from the industry, and I'm just amused by their perception of what we do in our spare time, which is, in reality, if you're not on set, I would like nothing more than just to lie down and take a nap. Okay, there's nothing. I think that's true for most of us.
Right.
Right, because we are so... I mean, writing is the most boring thing I can possibly in terms of the glamour aspect of it. And so is filmmaking on set.
Actually shooting the same scene again and again with 20 different angles and repeating takes after takes. It's not glamorous. It's mind-numbingly boring unless you're involved. Then it's interesting as shit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this is the most glamorous moment of Rana Naidu for me right now.
Yeah.
Right now. It's with you. Is the episode.
Rana, have you heard of fixers in real life? The film industry has fixers.
See, this is India, and you have fixers on every leg of the journey. I'm saying today you see a much more corporate India, but I'm saying 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you had to live in it, you always had fixers who fixed your gas stove, or who brought you X, got you Y, and to every degree there's fixers, right? I'm saying the idea of, and politics, crime, all of that is so closely related in this country, and fixers, they're called
to driving license fixers.
Yeah. So then they're called many different things. Jugadus, they're called power brokers, they'll be called many, many things, but of course.
But how do you break out from your character? What's your process like?
So this is actually much funnier than a film, because film is very definitive, because it's underlined to a certain heightened level which is hyper real and doesn't have to really be true. Here it's almost like a slice of life in some ways, and it's called Rana. Now I'm saying that's it's a different take to it, right? And you know that there'll be some cloudiness of this character in decisions you make in life, but you'll realize that after it's done and you know what it was. But it happens to me on films, and this was just much more.
And Rana, of course, you've grown up watching Venkatesh on screen. What was your experience seeing him play this character?
Well, see, one is, he's my uncle, but I'm also a huge fan of his because I watched all his films so closely. And for me, I was also in some ways as a fan or an audience of him that I want him to do something else.
Yeah.
Because there's an image that he's built that's so strong that you know that, okay, this is the kind of film it is, this is the audience that will come to it, they will also come on the... You know, exactly that dynamic, right? And to me, it was just a bliss to watch this, because this was a different version of him. He was wild. And it's hard, like when you know a person for so many years and you've seen so much of his work, just to see a new leaf will just...
Amazing.
I'm just hoping all of them like it the way we do.
And lastly, I want to ask you, how did you zero up on the title? Was it Rana? Was it the grandfather Rama Naidu? It has
No, it's not my grandfather.
Tell us about that.
No, it's not.
We want the sexiest name on the planet.
Okay.
Then we look at the sexiest man in the room. At that point of time was Rana. So we said Rana. And Karan already written the last name of the family. So we said Rana Naidu.
Oh.
Actually, Karan will add to it, but yeah.
No, that's it. That's exactly it. Look no higher.
So I thought it was a working title for the longest time.
Okay.
I thought, okay, it's
We
like,
conned him.
It happened during my earlier films too.
Yeah.
They call it Rana, but eventually it becomes some character. But here it just stayed, and then I saw this.
Wow. Great.
Now you saw this.
Yeah,
Now you see this, yeah.
yeah. The trailer launch was pretty. It got really real at that point. It said Rana coming on your face. I was like, okay, now this is what it is.